my patients are happy. This is what I get told. All my patients are happy. But we are not looking at the problem. 20%, at least 20% of your patients are not happy. They are not happy because either they have pain on climbing stairs, they pain at night, they feel stiff. We have this problem with poorly understood called mid-flexion instability, but everyone says all my results are excellent. Why are they excellent? The problem with measuring results, beyond a certain point, there's a ceiling effect. Everyone falls in an excellent category. But if you talk to your patient, you do a mechanical aligned TKR, you talk to your patient after 6 months, do you want to get the other knee done? I'm not okay with my first knee. Why should I get the other knee done? Because they are unhappy, they are not liking the results. And we have tried to solve it. You get their x-ray done, and this is what you used to say to the patient, the x-ray looks fantastic, but I'm not happy. And we have tried to solve this problem by bringing in new implants, technology, precision, whatever, but it is not getting solved. Because the fundamental question is we're not hitting the right target. The good x-ray does not feel like a good patient. Why? Because alignment goals have totally changed from mechanical. Mechanical is put everyone in a single alignment, 0 plus minus 3 degree. Kinematic alignment will replicate the pre-disease. It's important. You're replicating what the lady used to be when she was young, when she was 18 years of age. You somehow need to find a way to back calculate what she was when she was younger. In mechanical, you want to fit one size fits all. In kinematic, it is individualized to each patient. In mechanical, you will cut bone, put in a trial implant, it feels tight, go on releasing the soft tissue. You don't know how much you want to release. You will invariably end up putting instability to that patient because you can't quantify the soft tissue releases. In kinematic alignment, you resurface, which means you're not touching the soft tissues. The soft tissue remains the same. So in mechanical alignment, your target is a rectangular space in flexion and extension. But now we know from the previous talks, the flexion space opens up as you go from 0 to 90. So in kinematic, you're looking for a rectangular extension space, but a trapezoidal flexion space. And we know this from arthroscopy. So anyone who has scoped, 90-90, the frog-leg position is what you want to do. So this is the target you want to achieve. And unless you're able to achieve that, your results will not improve. Now, K will restore the coronal and sagittal alignment of the native knee and limb. What do you mean by that? So no matter where you start from, if you do a kinematic aligned TKR, they will end up in their pre-arthritic normal native anatomy state. So there is an X-ray. It's a slight valgus on the right side. It's a varus on the left side. Left side is subluxated. You may say left side may need a constraint at one time. You should have that in your OR. But the gentleman got a kinematic aligned TKR. You ended up with the same alignment on both the knees. I didn't have to calculate. That's how the surgery is defined. So they will go back to their pre-arthritic anatomy, and it is highly reproducible. It is reproducible in any surgeon's hand 95% of the time. And they studied this. They took people who had arthritis only in one knee. They did a kinematic aligned TKR on that knee, and they measured the angles on that side and on the normal side. And they wanted to say, if you do a kinematic aligned TKR, are you able to reproduce those angles for that individual? And they calculated. In 95+% of the cases, the hip knee angles were matching on the left and the right side. The one side that got operated and the other side that never got operated. The LDFA and then the MPTA were reproduced in 97% of the times if you do a kinematic aligned TKR. And look what happened. Their Oxford knee score jumped from 20 to 40 for a huge jump if they did a kinematic aligned TKR. And this is reproducible even in a worse deformity that we see so commonly in India. Now this particular lady, the way she walks, you might think maybe need a constraint. But imagine at 18 years of age, she was a straight lady. I didn't have to plan anything. I just took her to OR, did a kinematic aligned TKR. The end result is a straight knee because she was straight when she was young. So this is what you want to do. You want to achieve the native anatomy of that patient. What is the biomechanical rationale? We've already been told this. The varus is normal. It is there. Only 1% of the individual in the world are straight. It is healthy within the individuals, and you want to reproduce that. So this is a gentleman. The arthritis is not bad, but look at the varus. It's a constitutional varus. The varus is in the metaphysis, the proximal tibia. If you wanted to do a mechanical alignment TKR, if you wanted to do it, let's assume you want to do an HTO on this patient. You're looking at a 14 millimeter wedge opening on the medial side to straighten this, which means you're looking at a 14 millimeter soft tissue releases on the medial side to balance with mechanical alignment. But if you were to resurface this, you will put him back from where he started. Joint line obliquity, we already talked about it. So you can reproduce this. You can give this kind of varus and still be okay, because you would have balanced the knee, the soft tissue envelope would have fallen back to its original position, and patients love it. Maintaining the soft tissue envelope leads to normal loads throughout the range of motion in a knee. In terms of clinical outcomes, at least for the immediate post-operative period, it has been studied. You get greater Q score, KSS score, higher forgotten joint score, improved functional outcomes, and favorable prompts. Lot of tons of study all around the world. The functional scores are way improved after you do a kinematic aligned TKR. Not only it has been reproduced in the West, now we have studies from China, Japan, Korea, and now from India that improvement results is consistent. So it is not specific that they get improvement in a milder deformity. In fact, the best improvement is in a worse deformity after do a KR. Why? Because biomechanically you're restoring the tibiofemoral kinematics. So the tibia is bending the way it should on the femur. You're reproducing the rollback. The rollback is extremely important, and we never understood it. And you're optimizing the patellofemoral kinematics for the patient. It's so important for them to descend stairs, get out of the car. And we have been shown that it is very safe in the long term. Leaving them in varus does not mean they are going to fail early. And we're going to look at the evidence behind it later in the day. Multiple meta-analysis and randomized control trials have shown excellent survivorship. Revision rate in a KA is not higher, if not less than MA. KA is actually protective of a varus tibia, and you should take this message home. The left side is a mechanical done knee that fails in varus. So if ever a tibia is to fail in varus, it is in a mechanically done knee. Why? Because you're changing the load, and the entire load is concentrated on the medial compartment after an MA knee. If you do a KA knee, the loads get distributed on equally on the two compartments. It is actually protective, and it has been shown by studies. If ever a KA will fail, it fails posteriorly, and that has been shown because it failed because you gave too much slope. Now this is a matter of concern, because slopes in Indian communities are huge, and I do cases where the slope is 8, 9, sometimes 10 degrees, and this is a matter of study. Do you want to reproduce all these slopes? Patients usually end up with a much faster recovery, and that will drive your practice. As soon as you start doing KA, the patient is so happy. This is my school teacher. I studied under her. She got a TKR done. That's the day she came for her stitch removal. No PT, no support, no cane, and she's bending beyond 90 degrees within 15 days, and she will not get a PT. Why? Because the surgery has no soft tissue trauma. So you preserve the native ligament balance. There's no stretching or cutting of the soft tissue. Most patients now do not get any opioid. The cordyceps sparing approach that we use works even wonders. So they get much better. And the most important, the patient, the relatives are much more happy, because the shorter stay, they go back, they don't have to complain, bring them again and again back to the hospital. So there is a biomechanical advantage of doing KA, because it is a near physiological loading of the knee versus MA, which is the loading is much more. So it feels like my knee versus it feels like a prosthesis. If you want to give your patient a knee that it feels like my own knee, you have to shift to KA. Another advantage is the improvement in the gait that happens. It has already been shown on a couple of slides. If you do a KA versus an MA, the gait improvement after surgery is much better in KA, and they don't have to use compensatory mechanism after surgery to walk, which is so common after KA, which means they can walk, but they walk with very little shorter steps. They cannot take longer, broader strides. On the patient perspective, what can you do after KA? Anything you want. This is a patient who demands sports activity to be able to participate above 70-degree sports tournament, full recovery, roam the world, play golf maybe. It's just not about surviving an implant, it's about a forgotten joint. So if you want to achieve that, stay calm and shift to KA. Thank you.